Little countdown
You're
thing,
live.
or
Have fun.
Have fun, Josh.
all right, sweet, and we're live. What's going on, people? Give us just a second. Let us share this out real quick, and we'll get right with you. Share this out real quick, and we'll get right with you.
So, what's your favorite thing about what's going on in the wrestling world?
Well, right now in the wrestling world, my thing is there's so much going on with these because with AEW, still getting big as it's getting. You got Impact that's reached out because you got Impact the show itself, and then you got Impact Live, which is its more indie style wrestling that they got going on, which you'll have a more mixture of everybody with. You got NWA that's coming back even hotter, bigger, and stronger. And then you got all these independent promotions right now. And the talent that's going between these shows, which I'm gonna get with here with just a minute, there's just so much going on everywhere. WWE releasing people, Ring of Honor releasing people, and then everybody else collecting people as well. Let me get to this with this week in wrestling.
Have you heard of No Ring
As
North?
y'all probably seen already. Was that?
Have you heard of No Ring North?
I have not.
It's a promotion based out in Toronto and Southern Ontario. So basically, they go to a bar, don't set up a ring, bunch of hardcore wrestlers with light tubes, barbed wire bats, thumbtacks, just like fucking shit up at the bar. Drinking, going to the bar, taking shots, going to fuck people up with barbed wire.
Well, there's a lot of independent promotions up north, because if y'all don't know, I'm here in the United States. He's over there in Canada. Our neighboring northern country. And the views on wrestling and the aspects of wrestling is very different because there's different places there, different places here, and that's another thing I was going to jump in on is the support of independent wrestling, in which we'll get to that here soon. This week in wrestling, have you heard Jay Lethal has joined AEW?
See, the whole thing about Jay Lethal joining AEW, I wish he joined it in his Macho Man days. Like, if they bring back Jay Lethal, they need to put the whole Macho Man stuff on him.
Well, that was the thing he was running in TNA, and that was great. It was funny. I loved it. But when he went back to Ring of Honor, he came in as Jay Lethal again, and he was dominant. He was a great champion. And now in AEW, I think he can keep pushing his own name and his own brand.
But you have to admit, he played that gimmick perfectly.
He did. He was great as the Black Machismo. He was. He did a great imitation of Randy Savage, and he made some memorable moments on that. He did a great variation of Ric Flair as well. But if you remember the big contest of the woos between that was great. He is a guy that can play off a character in the right angle. I mean, he's got it. He's got what it takes. So that's why I'm excited to see him in AEW and see how far he takes himself there. As well, over in AEW, Hangman Adam Page is the new AEW World Champion.
Did you watch Full Gear?
I did not yet, but I heard a lot of good things about it.
It was the best pay-per-view in 2021, but the whole Page winning thing was just, he should have won it cleaner. The match should have went longer. It was a very good match, don't get me wrong, but like there was some cheating involved. It should have been like a steel cage match or something.
Well, you got to take into the fact that, like Kenny Omega's great, but, you saw the reaction of, when, Adam Page got it, and Kenny Omega, he's got a lot of other things going on elsewhere. You never know where he's going to pop up. He's got a lot of things going on between AEW. He's working with Impact as well, in which this collaboration of Impact and AEW has been going really good. I like seeing the different faces popping up both places. Although Hangman Adam Page's new number one contender is one that I'd like to see get the title as well, and that is Bryan Danielson.
They should have gave it to Punk first. That's that one thing that's pissed me off. Punk's on an undefeated streak.
Well, honestly, with Punk, I think he's just he wants to make sure he can still get into that. He's still getting the ring rust off. He's getting back in the ring after 7 years of being, MMA. He's getting his ring rust off. I believe he'll be there in contendership in a matter of time.
Do you think Punk?
You remember we talked about Ring of Honor last week, huh?
Yeah,
I believe he'll get the chance. I honestly believe he'll get the chance. We talked about Ring of Honor last week. Tonight, Ring of Honor had a pay-per-view. It was pay-per-view and it was streamed out. It was Honor for All. There were several title defenses that, like the Briscoe brothers, defended their GCW Tag Team Championships there at the pay-per-view.
Wait, was that the last ROH pay-per-view?
No, there's one more. Coming up on December 11th, Ring of Honor will have Final Battle before they shut their doors. And I heard, I've been doing research on. I heard Ring of Honor will be doing their Final Battle. It'll be a big blowout pay-per-view. They will go to this and they will shut their doors. They will be down from what I'm hearing, the earliest of months to reevaluate business, reevaluate everything, and see what happens. I'm curious to see what's going on. We're going to keep talking about this. We're going to keep tracking it down, because whether they're going to keep going mainstream media TV with Ring of Honor, or if they're going to go back to their, like the older indie days like they used to. We don't know what they're going to do yet. I'm real curious to see what they're going to do, because they got a lot of talent over there. A lot of big stars were made in Ring of Honor. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
What I think they should do, if you remember back in the day, ROH was more about the hardcore side. It was more about honor. It was more about respect to the ring, respect to your opponent.
Oh, right. What they've been, their mission statement, if you will say, has been more of the pure style. Because they got the World Heavyweight Champion, they got the Pure Champion, they got Tag Team Champions, Women's Champion. They got a couple others. I think they got 7 titles being defended in Ring of Honor, with tag teams and on down and on up. As well, like the Briscoe brothers, they're on Ring of Honor defending their GCW Tag Team Championships.
You do have to admit, though, that it's not a final battle without either a death match or a crazy, crazy ladder match.
Well, I'm not sure of the exact card for that, and we will try to cover that before the pay-per-view there, and we will do a rundown of it. I will make sure I find a way to watch it, because this is something I want to keep track of, see what they do, what their plans are.
Well, if you don't remember, mostly every final battle either had a death match or a ladder match, some kind of hardcoreness into it. Some kind of raw wrestling into it.
I'm sure they're going to do something big. I'm sure of it. I'm sure they'll do something big.
What they should do is, if Final Battle is going to be their last pay-per-view, bring back Punk, bring back AJ. AJ is going to be probably released, or he might have been released by now, right?
Oh, no, AJ Styles is still going with WWE.
What happens if Final Battle, CM Punk, AJ Styles, Briscoes, and name some other ROH tag teams that you would like to see come back into a 6-way ladder match, 6-way tag team ladder match?
Well, you'd have to go back a long ways to really define all the competitors that they had, all the tag teams that they had come through there, so which way it goes, I don't know, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, how they go out with a big bang for their final battle. What I wanted to talk about tonight with, as far as what my thing I want to talk about will be independent scenes. A big thing here and a big thing I want to discuss and want to keep carrying on is these independent promotions, because that's where your stars are made. Independent promotions is where it's at. That's where you see the most heart. You got these guys that go in and wrestle on a handshake and a hot dog kind of contract, that wind up making it real big. There's a independent wrestler that I follow by the name of Sam Stackhouse, and he just had a match with two other guys, and he's a big guy. These three guys were humongous, and they had a brawl. I saw some clips of it a little while ago. I'm curious to see what happened during the match. I'm gonna watch the whole thing soon. But there's a local promotion here, based out of Louisiana, called the UWE. It's the United Wrestling Entertainment. They got a show coming up here next week in the town that we live in. And then next month they will be in Houston, Texas, close somewhere in Texas. We'll find out. But
look at Darby Allin.
As far as what we want to do here is we want to push and we want to see these independent promotions go. So if you watch this and you're part of an independent promotion, drop your link in our comments. That way we can follow along with you and everybody else can follow along with it to see the rise and fall of superstars and these independent promotions go, because that's where it's at. That's where everybody gets their love of it when they first get into it, from the new guy all the way up to the most experienced guy. Even when you got these big superstars coming from these big name companies coming back to where they started in the independents, it means something.
Now, in Canada, there's a lot of promotions from the east to the west, from the north to the south. In Canada, there's probably about 2,000 different wrestling feds. And we go from strong style to deathmatch to tag team, women's, midget, Down syndrome. And I can't even say that because it's kind of true. We have Down syndrome kids who pro wrestle at a federation up 3 hours away. I know that's offensive to say, but it's goddamn true.
It's like micro championship wrestling. You got micro championship wrestling. They do a thing. You got all kinds of aspects of wrestling. No matter what the gender, age, race, or physical ability, this is a thing for everybody. As you can see.
I wouldn't say everybody.
That's why people. I'm gonna say this: wrestling is a place for everybody. Everybody can find something.
Wait, you mean
inside of wrestling
to be like for everybody? Like you mean being inside the wrestling ring is for everybody?
Well, if you got what it takes, yes. But as far as
we can't be telling people false information. Then we'll get idiots
as far as the viewership,
we'll get like idiots like Mass Transit dude if we start saying that. Come on.
Well, it's a place for everybody as far as viewership.
As viewership,
everybody finds something that either catches their attention, pulls on their heartstring. That's why I fell in love with wrestling way back in the day because of said things. Like Zach Gowen. Zach Gowen wrestled with one leg. He
almost died from Brock Lesnar. He said he said it on a podcast he was interviewed in. He said he was put in hospital and almost died from that. He got thrown 3 flights of stairs down. If you go back and watch it.
Well, that's what you gotta. There's the upside and downside of everything. Everybody says how wrestling's fake. How can you say that when you got wrestlers dying in ring, you got wrestlers getting injured? Tell that to a wrestler that's been physically hurt or that's taken a bump, at least taken a bump. tell them that wrestling is fake, and they'll probably jack slap you across the face.
See, I actually brought that up to the one, the only Mick fucking Foley. And he looked at me at Absinthe and said, "How can you say wrestling is fake?" And I go, "Because." I go, "It's predetermined. You know what bumps you're going to take. You know who's going to win. You know who's going to lose. How can you tell me that wrestling is real when it's already pre-booked and predetermined?" He looked at me and was like, "Well," he goes, "Folding off of a Hell in a Cell is pretty goddamn real to me, man." Next question.
I'll be that guy in the bleachers from that meme way back in the day crying, "Wrestling's still real to me, damn it."
See, to me, I love pro wrestling, but I also love the fact that pro wrestling is fake. Like, how can two people make a storyline, promos, hypes, and go out to the ring and perform as a full show? Like, they're putting on a show for the audience. It's not about the art anymore. It's about the show. And sadly, WWE made pro wrestling like that.
Well, that's why you got, wrestling organizations in the independents, like, AEW is bringing it back to the fans. You got Ring of Honor that's bringing it back to the pure style of wrestling. You've got NWA bringing it back to the old school style of wrestling with the old school gorilla session right there in front of you. You got, that's what. And speaking of NWA, did you see who just joined up with NWA to take on the champion?
No, haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
Competitor comes into the ring, beats up Trevor Murdoch, beats him down, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. It is the one and only Mike Knox. You remember Mike Knox from his days in ECW, WWE, as well as his time he ran with he was with Aces and Eights over in TNA at the time.
And
he is now in NWA.
In his hot life.
So I'm curious to see what they do with them. Well, I don't know. Back in the day, he was running with Kelly Kelly. The Exhibition.
Of, who the fuck am I thinking of? It slipped my mind who I'm thinking of. Guy just got released. He was an announcer for a very long time.
But like we were talking about, the wrestling it aspects to everybody. It's getting back to its more natural style of competition, and yes, granted, it brings to show it's to appeal to the audience, but it's getting back to a basis to where it's not you know what's going to go on, you know what's happening because everything's so scripted. Yeah. That's why I love the different brands that you have that brings back these other aspects that makes you come back to love wrestling. Because granted, back in the day, WCW, that was my thing, and then WCW left, and that WWE is what you had. And then and I love WWE. Granted, don't get me wrong, I love WWE, but then I don't know, they're losing it with me with the creative and the storylines and stuff like that.
With my thing is that my old wrestling podcast, Wrestling Entertainment Cast, about like 10 years ago, I used to go around to independent shows and interview wrestlers, interview promoters, interview refs. And so I was able to sit in a lot of locker rooms with some people and watch people set up, watch the ring get set up, watch them train, and you can hear them going over the matches. So like I see indie wrestling from a whole different side rather than from I can go to an indie event and see it from the eyes of setting everything up, and then from the eyes as just being a fan and going in, paying the $20, sitting up front, having a few beers, smoking a blunt outside.
That's why, like I said, that's why I love independent shows. That you can go in, you can, if you get there early, you can get there and just bullshit with the competitors, help set up things. That's how I got
out.
that's how I got into a lot of things. Me and a
Same.
buddy of mine, we went to these shows. We helped him set up. We had a guy that we knew. We helped him. Even after his matches, we go to the back locker room, help these guys pick out the glass and thumbtacks out their backs, and just really get to have a in-depth aspect of what goes on. I'm going to play a little commercial real quick because, like I said, I support indie promotions. Like I said,
one big night of high-energy professional wrestling at the Gina Community Center, 1245 Fairgrounds Drive off Highway 84. This full card includes the much-anticipated rematch as Xavier Storms faces champion Bug Sinister for the UWE Light Heavyweight Championship. Plus, Team America faces Bizarre Fury as Logan Wade and American Ranger take on Rico Wildly and Jake Fury in a tag team match for the ages. And so much more from the superstars of the UWE. Plus, country recording artist Trevor Causey performing live. Tickets available online now at eventbrite.com. Follow United Wrestling Entertainment on Facebook for more information. Be there for the shock factor. Saturday, November 20th, UWE High Voltage Saturday Night, Gina, Louisiana. The UWE is coming. Presented in part by Stevens Media Group.
All right, that is UWE. That is the promotion here in Louisiana that's really getting a push. I wanted to play that because some of these guys that's in the UWE are fresh out of wrestling training school. That's fresh out of their first big event. They're going into this next event to go, and then they're moving over to Marshall, Texas, which they'll be having another show.
How are you affiliated with them? How did you hear them? Do you know anyone in it? Are you affiliated with them? Can we legally play that on here without getting in trouble?
Yes, we can legally play that on here. I am not affiliated with them. I'm not paid by them, but I do know many people in that. That is a promotion about 45 minutes away from where I live. That if you, we can go over it later on about who the trainers are. They're old wrestlers themselves, which this is leading me up to what I'm about to talk about. Indie Pro 22. It's a video game for independent wrestlers. It is a video game following the careers and following the independent scene.
Oh, come on! You can't really say that. If there's going to be an independent game, like, I'm sorry for talking shit right now, there's probably going to be no Canadian companies in it. There's so much more than American independent wrestling out there. Like, if you're going to say there's going to be an independent game, put some Canadian guys in it, like Josh Alexander, Ethan Page.
There's independent wrestlers from all over here. I'm just highlighting the ones that I know at the moment, like Rico Wildly. Rico Wildly is going to be in this video game, which we'll have him. I got him set to come on to this show soon enough. We got several others that from the UWE that's going to be on this video game. You got another guy that the Monster Hunter Bo Sawyer. He's going to be on it. If you ever heard of him, he's in the independent scene. This is a big time for the independents. Independent scene has been around and been pushing for so long, and they've been getting a push, but now they really got a spotlight on them, and that's why I'm really happy to see this. So if you go look for this, Indie Pro 22, it's an independent wrestler video game, just about like how Deathmatch Wrestling was about the independent deathmatch wrestlers when they had the deathmatch video game back in the day.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's more than just Americans. There's Canadians too. You just have to look on, see if there's anybody you know. I'm just pointing out a few that, you know. So if you know of any independent wrestlers,
is it an actual independent game, or is it an American company game that's like only based in America?
No, it's if you're an independent wrestler and you're out there, you know, you have a good chance of getting there, getting on this game.
Is it going to be console, computer, Steam?
I'm not too sure yet. I'm still waiting to find out what all, you know, venues they'll be at as far as what consoles and stuff like that. There's a lot to follow with it.
That's cool.
But I got a buddy of mine who that's in with the UWE that gives me the permissions to talk about their independent scene they got going on. Just because of I support all independent promotions. That's where I go back to find my love of wrestling. I love watching independent wrestling. I love it all the way back down. You know, you can we talk about GCW. We talk about there's stuff on my Facebook that, you know, like I said, if you watch here and you're part of independent promotion, and you're in the comments, tag down where you're from and your the company that you work for and where we can follow you to where we can follow along with you. If from Canada to here to the United States, if you're part of, you know, this independent scene, we want to follow you too. Support your local wrestling.
Let's try a powdered out call out for a guest. What country of a wrestler would you like to interview and have on here?
And speaking of, I got a notification from the place. It is Valadrax Games. That's the company that's putting out the video game for the independent wrestlers. But anyway, let's keep on pushing forward. What did you want to talk about today? Enough of me and all my independent stuff. But like I said, I want to push that to where we can. I want to talk to independent wrestlers, the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the beginnings to, you know, their big breaks. I want to know more about what they go through and what they go through to, you know, get where they're at today. So that's why I push that out there to where we can get some interviews going on here with some of them. Tell us about what you want to what you want to talk about.
More of the independents, but I really just want to do a call out right now. If you're from Australia, India, Japan, China, North Korea, or Bangladesh, and you're a pro wrestler or a promoter, we would love to have you on here. Those are all countries I've never heard pro wrestling in, but if anyone's out listening to this, which we don't know, we've had 1,000 before, someone reach out, maybe you reach out to us or we'll reach out to you. But yeah. But rather than that, maybe.
Did you get a chance to watch Full Gear?
Full Gear was awesome.
Tell us about a little more rundown of them. What kind of matches and who came out the winners? You know, what we have with that.
It wasn't really that remarkably good. Like, what stuck out to me was that Ethan Page got his ass whipped, unfortunately. He's from my own city, Hamilton, Ontario, coming down from Alpha One Wrestling. Unfortunately, I don't think A1 is running anymore, but if it was, I would have had people from there. But Adam Page winning, that was a bunch of... He won even though it was cheating stipulations. Callis got into it. The fucking Young Bucks got into it. It was just, the whole situation was shitty. It was just like AEW is getting to a point where the Young Bucks are just taking over everything. They just don't give a fuck anymore. Do you remember when Young Bucks started out in ROH when they were all about honor, respect, and like the boys in the back, we'll do anything for this art, pro wrestling, we love it, we love our fans. And then now look at the bullshit they're doing. The bullshit they're doing just makes me want to spit on my television every Wednesday, Friday night.
Well, that's why I did hear that a lot of them that, you know, first started out that had creative control, like the Young Bucks and other ones like that, they're about to be getting out of the creative part of it, and they're going to have their own creative team take care of all that, which I hope to see, you know, the Young Bucks get out of that, because like you said, back in the day they were, more respect and honor kind of thing, but now it's all about, pride and glory, and they're all about themselves and the money, and I think soon enough they'll be leveled out, and they'll have the competition there to be able to do that. But they're running the thing to where they want to be the greatest tag team there ever was. They have a lot of work to be that. Because I can name you a lot of other great tag teams there was that they have not faced. That they can't say that they're the best tag team unless they face them.
But they already had that title once, though. Like, they have been the best tag team for like 10 years in the independents in North America before they went to ROH.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the coming up, the more people coming into AEW, what's going to go on, because some people's going to be pushed to AEW Dark, some's going to be pushed to Rampage, some's going to stay on all the regular show that they started out with.
I've been very disappointed about Rampage. So disappointed. When they first brought Rampage out, I thought it was going to be like hardcore ECW's AEW. Like when they hyped it, that's how they hyped it too. No Holds Barred, Rampage.
Well, they thought that Rampage was going to come in and be able to compete with the other shows. But like I said, once that first push went out about Rampage, it kind of died down. Now it's just kind of like, here's Rampage.
They should throw some like hardcoreness on it, or like they need to do something to shake it up.
As well, did you hear the beginning? I think the beginning or the end of last week or something like that. Buck Bagwell's mom, Judy Bagwell, that you saw on TV holding the title for him and pampering him on screen. She passed away.
Oh shit.
But I'm glad that they made a post about her, to pay tribute to what she did and what she was on there on screen for.
Now, quick question for you. Yes. You obviously heard about the mass transit incident.
Remind me on that. What's going on with that?
So what happened was, it was about in the 90s. I think it was 92. New Jack and this guy named Mass Transit were in a tag team, but it was the Gangsters versus Devon Dudley and this guy named Mass Transit. And he brutally got butchered from New Jack. But what happened was, he lied to the promoter, he lied to the ECW promoter, and told him that I have vouched from this person and that I am over the age of 21, which he was 17. Now, how can we make that stop in the independents? Do you think something like that could ever happen? Or do you think the age limit and the vouch and the green light is pretty much on key, that you won't get someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing in a ring with someone like New Jack's? Well, that would happen, I think, because New Jack is honestly, so like that would be like Nick Cage versus like some random 17-year-old that walked into the venue and has a vouch and has a apparent green light.
Well, I think that in independents, they're being a little more cautious. You got to have nowadays. You got to have your pro wrestling license. You got to be able to show proof of your age. Excuse me. They're being more cautious of that because there has been several incidents of people coming up being gaslighted and green lighted, saying that I'm this, I'm that, and not being what they say they are. There's a guy like an independent promotion. There's videos on it. You can look up on YouTube. Guy comes in. He says he was trained by this guy. This guy, he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He's good in the hardcore things. He came in. He was having a match against a female and severely hurt this girl. I mean, because he said he was good at what he does, but he botched several moves that severely hurt this girl that he wrestled. The entire locker room came out before the conclusion of this match and knocked the holy hell out of them, all of them, and just
yes. That's
so
awesome.
there's instances of that all around the independent and the pro scene. So I think they are using caution.
Just came out and just beat the holy fuck out of the dude.
Yeah, they were grabbing anything they can grab. They were grabbing chairs. They grabbed the ring bell. They were just beating the living crap out of this guy.
That's awesome.
They were giving him when they found out he wasn't who he said he was. They gave him the receipt of a lifetime. So that's why in the promoters and wrestlers, they're all using more caution as to who they put onto their cards.
Now, wait,
so
can I talk
as
about
far
something?
as age limit, as far as who you say you are, they are using more caution to that, so we don't have instances like that.
Now, I'm going to go back to the independents. So there was an issue in London, Ontario. I hate to bring this up, but it was a promotion called Hardcore Road Trip. The promoter name was Mark Livingston, and what happened was he got a bunch of ECW guys. The Dudley Boys were there. Sandman was there. Rhino was there. A bunch of other hardcore people from the States, from CZW, Matt Tremont. This asshole, I know Josh, you can't swear, but this fucking cock-sucking motherfucker, Timmy, oh my God, this guy faked a heart attack, walked out the venue with about $20,000, did not pay his wrestlers, did not pay the ECW guys, made them find their own way to the airports. Some of them were sleeping in the fucking snow. Guy just walked out, haven't found him, no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok for this guy off the face of the earth. If anyone is out there who's heard of Mark Livingston, you cocksucker, I would love it if you were on here. That would be one guy I would really love to talk to.
And unfortunately, there's people like that out there, but so, and that's just a thing for new people in the independent scene to just watch out for is, make sure you know what you're getting into. I just got word we're gonna have about 10 more minutes to where we can wrap up and talk about what we're going to talk about. So any closing remarks from you?
No. Yeah, actually, there's some stuff that's going on that I can't announce yet, but in the upcoming weeks, after I get the okay from the venue, there's going to be either some changes. I can't really talk about it that much on here, but yeah.
I want to thank everybody who takes the time to watch us and listen to us just get on here, ramble on, and BS about everything. People ask me about the name Powdered Out.
Thank you so much for listening to us fuck around. This is the Powdered Out podcast. Thank you so much for all the likes, the subscribers, if we have any, the follows. We're almost top followed on Inebriated Records, almost top viewed. That's just not talking shit. That's just the truth.
And we want to thank Inebriated Records for allowing us to be here and have a podcast on them.
Yeah, we love them. Thank you, Inebriated Records. Big shout out to
I enjoy coming out here every Sunday.
Williams.
A big thank you to those guys at Inebriated Records for allowing us to be here. I enjoy being here every Sunday to just come out and BS with y'all. People ask me about the name Powdered Out podcast of why we named it this. The wrestling term for powdered out is after taking a slam to the mat. Powder means to simply roll under the bottom rope and to cut a promo to advance the storyline. So that's what we do here, to take a chance to sit back, talk about wrestling, and powder out. Just take a time to advance the storyline of wrestling. For us to be able to come out here, unwind, talk about everything, to share with y'all, and just express our views and what's going on in the wrestling world. Like I said, if y'all are part of any kind of wrestling organization, we thank y'all for watching, and comment your links of how we can follow along with you on the comments, and like, subscribe, follow along with us, comment, tell us what you want to hear us talk about. And like I said, if you're an independent wrestler, I got a few independents that wants to be on the show that I'm going to get on here soon enough. We'd love to have y'all on here. Like again, this is Michael Bolton. I'm Landfill. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Powdered Out Podcast, and we hope to see you back next Sunday.
Peace.
We may have a couple more minutes. He should be cutting us off soon. So let's anything else we want to talk about while we just ramble on that we can cut off.
Yeah. What's your favorite Mania
what
match?
is
Favorite Mania match?
Favorite Mania match? Well, I like mine was, it stopped, but mine was all the Undertaker streak matches. You know, that was highlight of, you know, who he was going to face, how it was going to end, and finally, you know, who was going to be the one to take the streak. You know, because it was rumored out there that Brock Lesnar wasn't supposed to be the one who took the streak, but you know, things happened the way it did, and you know, and honestly, I didn't see Undertaker being able to hold that candle. But honestly, I would love to see Undertaker leave out with that streak intact. I would love to see him finish out and hold that streak to where that was it. You know, Undertaker had that streak. He retired with it, and you know, that would have been the Phenom, you know, kind of thing. You know, he had the streak. You know, see who else could have came up in the roster to try to top that. You know, that would have been a thing to see. That was my main thing for WrestleMania, is that I'd love to see of why I tuned in.
My favorite Mania, I don't remember what Mania had happened. I think it was one of the early ones. But Mae Young's bra and panties match, when that old granny panties got taken off, it was like spank bank material to the fullest. But other than that little joke bit, I would have to say the 6-way triangle ladder match.
Oh, speaking of, when is SummerSlam? I know SummerSlam is coming up. The teams, no, it's not SummerSlam. It's Survivor Series.
Survivor Series
is coming up. The teams are made. I'm wondering what's going to come out with that. Do we know a date on that?
I haven't really been watching WWE, to be honest with you. I more follow AEW.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.